Good morning, students. Welcome to Class 10 Biology, lesson number 21, Photosynthesis 2. In our previous class, we have already studied what photosynthesis is, the structure which is responsible for photosynthesis taking place, that is the chloroplast, also the raw materials required for photosynthesis, and the opening and closing of stomata. With that in our mind, let us continue this chapter. Next, we come to is the process of photosynthesis. The process of photosynthesis is a complicated oxidation reduction process resulting in oxidation of water and reduction of carbon dioxide in the form of organic substance called glucose. Photosynthesis involves a number of complex photochemical reactions which can be split under two phases, the light reaction and the dark reaction. Now let us study these reactions in detail. Light reaction, also known as light dependent phase, because it takes place only in the presence of light. It is also called the Hill's reaction or the photochemical reaction. This process occurs in the thylakoids of the chloroplast. I have already explained the structure of the chloroplast and the thylakoids which are present forming the grana in the chloroplast. It takes place in the presence of light. It involves 4 steps. First, excitation of chlorophyll. The chlorophyll, on exposure to sunlight, absorbs radiant energy in the form of photons, that is the smallest unit of light, and becomes activated. Second, photolysis of water. The light energy absorbed by chlorophyll is used in splitting the water molecule into hydrogen ions and hydroxyl ions, as shown in the equation below. Third, production of molecular oxygen. The hydroxyl ion produced as a result of photolysis of water is oxidized to form water and oxygen. You can see in the equation 4 hydroxyl ions give you 2 molecules of water and 1 molecule of oxygen. All the oxygen released during photosynthesis is from the water molecule and not from the carbon dioxide. Please note this. It is from the water molecule and not from the carbon dioxide molecule one thinks about. Third, photophosphorylation, the process of formation of energy-rich compound ATP from ADP and inorganic phosphate utilizing light energy is called photophosphorylation. Actually, ADP to ATP, formation of ATP molecule from ADP is known as phosphorylation. But when light is involved in bringing about this reaction, it is known as photophosphorylation. Next is last step of light reaction is reduction of NADP. What is NADP? Nicotinamide adenine dinucleotide phosphate. The hydrogen ion, now there were 2 components, hydroxyl ion, we've already spoken what happens to it, and now the hydrogen ion. The hydrogen ion released during photolysis is picked up by NADP, which then gets reduced to NADPH2 as shown in the equation. Na2NADP plus 4 electrons plus 4 hydrogen ions will give you NADPH2. Now, it moves on to the dark reaction. Dark reaction is also known as Blackman's reaction or biosynthetic phase. Biosynthetic because glucose is produced in this process, or light independent phase because light is not required for this reaction to take place. For dark reaction, there is no need of light. It takes place almost simultaneously to the light reaction. This process occurs in the stroma of the chloroplast, that is the ground material of the chloroplast. Fixation of carbon dioxide or reduction of carbon dioxide to glucose. In this process, carbon dioxide is reduced to glucose with the help of H, which you get from NADPH produced in the light reaction, and ATP also, which we get from the light reaction. Now let us see how this happens in detail. The synthesis of glucose occurs in a number of steps, each catalyzed by a specific enzyme. It is also known as the Kelvin-Benson cycle because two scientists, Melvin Kelvin and Andy Benson, discovered this cycle. Hence, it is on their name. The first step, carbon dioxide absorbed by the leaves combines with ribulose bisphosphate and enters into the Kelvin cycle and forms a three carbon compound called phosphoglyceric acid. This is the first stable compound that is formed, that is also known as PGA. The second step, some of the PGA formed is converted into glucose by using hydrogen from the NADPH I just told you about and ATP from the light reaction. Step 3. The remaining PGA, whatever remains, undergoes a series of transformation and ultimately regenerates ribulose bisphosphate, which was utilized in the beginning, in the first step. This then combines with the carbon dioxide once again and goes back into the cycle. That is why it is known as the Kelvin-Benson cycle. The overall reaction of this phase is summarized as shown in the equation. Now, what is the fate of the end products of photosynthesis? Glucose. Some of the glucose, which is oxidized immediately after it is formed to produce energy to carry out the various metabolic activities of the plants. The rest of it is converted into starch and stored as reserve food material of the plants. Now, some of this is transported to non-photosynthetic cells in the form of sucrose. Note, it is not in the form of glucose, but in the form of sucrose, a disaccharide. Water. Water produced during photosynthesis is reutilized in this process. If you remember when we spoke about it in transpiration, we said only 1% of the total water is used for photosynthesis. This is the reason why. Oxygen. A part of the oxygen produced is utilized by the plant for respiration because respiration is a continuous process which goes on day in and day out, morning also and night also. And the rest of it is released into the atmosphere to maintain the carbon dioxide oxygen composition constant. Now, let us see the adaptation of leaves for photosynthesis. The leaves are very well adapted to carry out photosynthesis. Let us discuss them one by one. Large surface area. The surface area of leaves is very large. This helps in absorption of maximum amount of sunlight. The arrangement of leaves is also such that maximum amount of light falls on each and every leaf. Chloroplast. If you see the arrangement of chloroplast, you find that the palisade layer on the top is compact and it has a large amount of chlorophyll in it. So the upper layers of the leaf is very compact and having large amount of chlorophyll, which helps in absorbing maximum amount of solar energy. Numerous stomata. There are numerous stomata which are present mainly on the lower surface for exchange of gases to take place quickly. Thinness of leaves. It enhances rapid transportation of material between the adjacent cells. And last of all, network of veins. You know what are actually veins? They are xylem and phloem vessels. This helps in quick transportation of water from the roots right up to the leaves and to every cell in the leaf, and food which is manufactured by the leaves to the other parts of the plant. With this, we come to an end of this lesson. Thank you, children. Take care of yourselves, and God bless you all.